Hi everyone, I'm Michelle Kelly. Welcome to Be in the Change. I'm going to get started by reciting my inspiration. Our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, which most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people will not feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us. It is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Marianne Williamson. I'd like to say welcome to everybody who's watching me for the first time, and welcome back and thank you to everybody who's been on this journey with me. I stated in 2019 for my New Year's resolution that I was breaking up with fear, I was breaking up with shame, and I was breaking up with guilt, and I was going to do a weekly video for an entire year, and we're finishing up the end of 2020, and I've been able to keep my commitment and promise out loud. So what I'm learning about myself is for me to be accountable and let other people know what I'm up to and what I'm doing. It's a lot easier for me to be accountable to myself when I tell other people out loud that I'm doing it. So that was something that I wasn't able to do until now. But I'm doing it, so I'm excited about it. I wanted to tell you guys I had my COVID test done last Wednesday night, and it came back negative, and then they insisted that it shouldn't have been negative, and I had to wait for a second one, and it put me into like fear and panic, which I said I broke up with fear. I said I broke up with shame, and I said I broke up with guilt, and I allowed this to put me back into the fear. And then last Saturday night, I ended up saying, screw it. I went outside for a walk at night in the dark. I was walking around with a mask on, and then I'm like, what the frig am I doing? There was nobody outside with me. I got to look at Christmas lights and breathe fresh air. So that was amazing. So that was my first time out after they told me I needed to quarantine even though my test was negative. So I did that, and then a couple days later, I stayed back in, and then a couple days later, the day before my COVID test results, I'm like, I don't have COVID. I am not sick. My test result was negative. I went out to the store, and not only did I go out to the store, I walked outside during the day. Like, I am taking safety precautions, but, you know, we're in a world where first, nothing was ever our fault. Not responsible for anything ever. To the extreme opposite is if somebody I know dies, it's your fault, which it is not your fault if any members of my family die or if I die. I don't know why people think that we are God. I am not. I am not in charge of other people's lives. I barely can take care of myself. So I'm not being an asshole. I am wearing a mask when I go out. I'm taking care of myself. But this responsibility of that it is somebody else's fault if something happens to me or doesn't happen to me, we have swung in the opposite direction. And so what I'm learning and what I've been practicing, like I live like that too. I used to do all of that. But I'm learning I'm not responsible for your life and you're not responsible for my life. I'm responsible for what I can do, and then God does the rest. Miracles are still happening. Babies are being born. Things, people who weren't supposed to live survive. and people who were supposed to live pass away. And that is not my job, and it's not other people's jobs. So making everybody else responsible or trying to put myself on top of somebody else, it is not healthy, and it's not a way to live. And I realized with this coronavirus, I was walking today outside of my neighborhood, or in my neighborhood, and we had a lot of snow. I'm in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, the United States, and we just got a lot of snow last night. And I saw a guy that I know who's always outside. Usually his son's out there with him, and I'm like, "Where's your buddy?" And he's like, "Because school's virtual, you don't get a snow day anymore." And it made my heart drop. I'm like, kids can't even look forward to a snow day. Like, the coronavirus isn't stopping death. It is stopping life. It is stopping our lives. People are still dying with the coronavirus, even though we're doing all these precautionary measures. But what's being prevented right now is living. And it's taken me a long time to step into my own skin, in my own body, and be able to live and be responsible for myself. And I'm not going to allow that anymore. I am not going to live in fear. Not to say that I don't and it doesn't come back, but I am practicing not letting fear control my life anymore, because I know I'm not in charge. God's in charge. I am not that powerful, and neither are you. So thinking that we have control whether somebody lives or dies is kind of silly when you think about it. Like, we're not that powerful. So I am so grateful for everyone who's watching me, who's all the people that are on this journey with me. You know, I'm doing the best I can with what I have. I know everybody else is too, but I want to live, and I want to have peace, and I want to have joy, and today I feel free. So thank you everyone who's watching. Please stay safe and stay tuned, and I'll see y'all next week.